Happy Friday, everybody. And I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you can hear me. That's actually the goal number one right now. Because I hope you enjoyed the picture of the car driving down the road. There's actually the music. I got to hear the music. I don't know if you did. But anyway, there we go. See, okay, cool. I hear myself. Yay! All right, that's all that matters. And yes, I realize there are 2 YouTube links right now. We're working on that. Genius West. I don't know, Genius West or Hero West, because I feel like both nicknames apply, but I don't know. Hero West seems to flow better. So thank you for making time. Let's see. Tomorrow. Yesterday, if you missed the Thursday deep dive, Brad Staggs was here. We talked about, oh my gosh, about a dozen different topics. So if you want to talk about remote viewing, that's your show. If you want to talk about a cure for Parkinson's, that's your show. If you want to talk about, I don't know, it was a ton of stuff. Garth Brooks being a possible serial killer. It was a fun show. It's a fun show. And so I hope you will check it out. It's available at youtube.com/@the mic. And it's, of course, at Keith Malinak on Twitter. And I appreciate all the feedback there. Toby talking about no music. Yeah, any kind of, I love it. I need to hear from y'all what you're experiencing out there. But hopefully you hear me and all is well in that department. Now, don't forget, next Thursday, so 6 days from now, there's either a very exciting topic, an exciting guest, that will happen either that day or a day in the future. But I don't want to tease it because I don't want to get burned, and then you guys are expecting a specific show. So it might honestly be, and I'm totally fine with this if it happens, it might be a show where you just chime in with the topics that you want us to talk about, maybe guest ideas, stuff like that. So I need to do one of those shows at some point anyway. It just, my hand may be forced on Thursday, regardless of my best plans. So there you go. Let's see. Other housekeeping. Next Friday, Chris Cruz will join me here on the Friday live stream, or is it called Happy Hour? I really don't know. Wes is making awesome thumbnails. I know that. But also a newcomer that's never been on the Friday live stream, another Blaze co-worker of mine, Ken Kuykendall. And I will probably call him Kyle during the entire episode, something that we will have a fun time explaining when we do that. So, all righty. I don't want to delay any longer. Let me get a couple of awesome gentlemen in here. I got Ed Bishop. I think it's your second visit into the lair.
Yes, it is.
And Ward Clark, who did an awesome Thursday deep dive with me on Alaska. That's pinned to the top of the YouTube page. So go check that out. Like, subscribe, share. Share. You got to share this stuff. And make sure that your friends, family, hell, your enemies, doesn't matter to me. Make sure that they know about this. But Ward, let me start with you about. I want to know what it's like right now in Alaska, because down here in the lower 48, we are experiencing Alaska. I think for the last couple of weeks, got over a foot of snow in the southern edge of Louisiana 2 days ago. Temperatures have been very chilly. It's been hysterical. I love winter weather. But I just want, did it all the cold air empty out of Alaska? What's going on up there right now, man? By the way, redstate.com, Ward writes up some awesome articles over there from his homestead in Alaska. How's the weather, bro?
Well, it's funny you mentioned sending the cold air down there, because that's pretty much exactly what's happened. This same Arctic airflow that's coming down over the lower 48 and up here, everybody who's not in Alaska, we refer to you as being outside with a capital O. So that's what's happening outside that. But on the edges of this Arctic, vortex that's pushing this cold air down all the way down to you, on the edges, it's coming up and it's bringing warm Pacific Ocean air right up over South Central Alaska. So right now it's 41 degrees. It's raining. Everything is melting. It's been this way for almost 2 weeks. Next week, we go back to normal. which we Alaskans expect and approve of this time of year. It'll be single digits during the day and below zero at night, and everything will freeze back up, and we won't be sliding all over the place.
Okay. All right. Very cool. So there's the on-the-ground report from Alaska. Ward Clark, redstate.com. Go check out his stuff. Ed Bishop, my other guest, you're here in Texas with me. Ed Bishop, Voiceovers. I mean, you do a lot of stuff. What all do you do over there, man?
Yeah, Voiceovers is my main thing, but past couple of years I dove into podcast production. So I'm more of a the beginner podcasters. People that have never even recorded themselves before. They got their setup in their office or their bedroom, whatever, and they hire me to take their audio and mix it down, add intros and outros, and kind of customize it up so that it sounds a little more professional.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. So is it edbishopvoiceovers.com?
Yeah, edbishopvoiceovers.com. Also, Badass Podcast Intros.com is the other one. Yeah. So just kind of a mix of everything in the audio world,
Okay. That's awesome. Are you able to help podcasts stay on the air and make their videos play properly? Because we've been having trouble here at the mic. That's for sure. We're gonna test it later. I'm so nervous, y'all. I don't even think it's gonna work because I think there was a sneak peek with no music playing before we got started today. I think it's gonna be a treat. So I printed this up here. Somebody posted this on I don't know, Instagram here. I took a screenshot. It says going back to the weather, I should say, Ward, it says, I'm over this 7-day free trial of living in Alaska. So it's exactly what it's like down here. Okay, I got cold weather tips because everybody's experiencing it. Everybody except for maybe South Florida has been going through it the last couple of weeks to one degree or another. So these are just 6 things you should not keep in your car. Actually, I think it's 7. I don't think USA Today knows how to count. We'll see. Apparently, don't leave your sunglasses in there. I think the thing is that if you go to pick them up, right, if they're frozen, then they'll crack or something. I think that's what they were trying to say with that. So be sure to make sure that aerosol cans. Extreme temperatures can cause aerosol cans to become unstable. Oh, they could break or explode. Oh, that would be a bad trip out to your car. Let's see. Canned beverages and foods. Oh, my goodness. Hold on a second. Ward, I'm sure you've gone through this a lot in Alaska. When I lived in Nebraska, we kept coolers of like Coke and stuff out on the deck of the apartment, and because it was a natural refrigerator. But the problem was it was a natural freezer. And so all the Cokes exploded, and you just had this nasty cooler filled with like, corn syrup and stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, that's.
I grew up in Northeast Iowa, and our winters there were, other than the daylight hours, they weren't that much different than the winters here. And I've had that happen. Exploding Coke cans. So yeah, interesting.
Ed, have you ever experienced in your life? Because you're from Philly, right?
New York.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I lived in Philly. I came from Philly before the blaze. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've experienced cold weather. I mean,
yeah, I hate it. I'm not doing this. No, I was telling my wife the other day, we, obviously live in Texas now, about 20 miles from Keys. I would rather have it be 98 degrees.
Oh.
It's just me. I swear I'd never say that.
Yeah.
I love the cold, but no, I'm done with it, man. I'm going to retire to South Florida at some point. Yeah. I lived there 3 different times when I was younger. So yeah. But no, I don't want the cold, man. I don't know. It's funny. I lived near the beach several years of my life. I never went, except for at night to go drink. I never actually went to the beach, Yeah, no. No, I just like it. I don't like, I just don't like cold anymore.
Yeah. And hey, the older I get, I may change my tune as well. But I don't know, Ward, you sought out the cold. You sought out Alaska when you retired, right?
We did, yeah. My grandfather used to say, every cat its own rat. And I'm very happy living in a place where it never gets above 75 degrees.
I love that phrase.
I could live at 75. Like if you kept me there, I'd be fine. I just don't like the dipping cold.
Well, it's all in what you're used to, because around here we have a running joke. You can always spot the locals, because when it gets above about 45 degrees, they're in tank tops and shorts.
Yeah.
It's all a matter of that. Now, then when it gets cold, last winter we had, I think, 2 or 3 overnights where it was below 30 below. And that gets to the point where if you see a wolf with a rabbit, he's not eating the rabbit, he's wearing it. So when it gets cold here, cold for an Alaskan is, below about 50 or 20 below. That's when we start worrying about it being really, really cold.
It's kind of opposite here, right, Keith? Like here, you know they're a Texan when it's 47 or 48 and they're bundled up like an Eskimo.
Yeah. And they're whining and
Yeah, but
I was stationed in San Antonio. I saw that.
Yeah. So I got a question, Lord. When it gets that cold, obviously, when we're going to be below freezing for any amount of time here, you're supposed to drip your pipes and all that stuff so they don't freeze up and explode, and then you got a total mess. A serious question. I'm not being facetious. Are you? Obviously, it's 41 degrees there, but in a normal scenario, are you dripping your pipes around the clock all winter there, or is it built differently?
Not normally. Our houses are built for it.
Okay.
Our water comes from a well, and the line from the wellhead to the house is like 4 feet underground, so it's not freezing up.
Got it.
And our house, all our piping, of course, like most houses, is under the main floor. We have, I guess you'd call it a crawl space. It's not quite a basement. It's not quite a cellar. But there's an enormous stone heat sink down there. Our wood stove, the air circulates around our wood stove down through this stone heat sink and then up into the house. And that stone heat sink keeps that entire crawl space pretty warm.
How cool.
So, and it's the same with earthquakes. Our houses are built to be earthquake proof because it's earthquake country.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't know that about Alaska, but Anchorage was almost wiped out by, I think it was 1964, the big earthquake. So we're built for it.
Okay. Well, I will say, living in Nebraska, I just thought of this. In the dorm rooms at the University of Nebraska, we had these long vertical blinds, and so the space between the glass and the blind, maybe 7-8 inches long or wide, and you could keep stuff cold there in the winter. Yeah. There's like a built-in refrigerator. It was wild because that cold air was trapped behind there. Anyway, don't eat frozen eggs. Just I want you to know the USDA says that's bad. Don't let your eggs crack. Don't let them get frozen. They want you to throw them away. Let's see. Electronics. Oh. When we were moving out of Omaha to Charleston, South Carolina, all of our stuff from the same apartment I'm referring to here was in one of those little external garages. And so all of our stuff was just boxed up because we never planned on staying there too long. And sure enough, it was easy to back the U-Haul up. Easy, he says. It was 0 degrees. And I remember my cell phone at the time. I'm trying to think it was my watch. I think it was my cell phone. It was just blinking in and out, almost like that picture in Back to the Future where Michael J. Fox is looking at him and his siblings fading in and out. That was nasty cold. So electronics, don't let them get cold. I think we've gone through the list here. Oh, medications. Wow. Yeah, okay. So they're just saying that they become ineffective or even dangerous. That's weird. I wonder what happens with that. I don't have a lot of details here, but
maybe like liquid. The liquid.
Maybe that's got to be right.
Yeah, it'd be pill. I wouldn't think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Any liquid medication. Good job, Ed. Suspended state will likely be negatively affected if it's frozen. Wow. I don't know who's keeping their meds outside, but just in case you are, now you know. And I love this. I want to thank USA Today. Hold on. Let me get this right. The exact headline. Because wait till you hear this one. 6 things you shouldn't leave in your car in freezing temperatures. Shout out to the USA Today for reminding us, don't leave your loved ones in the car. Holy crap. All right. Let's see.
That is known as belaboring the obvious.
They needed. They're like, we've already written the headline. It says 6. We need a 6th. Okay. Gentlemen, who wants to start here? Ward, I'm going to let you. I'm going to let you go first. Ward, what is your favorite comfort food?
Oh boy!
I'm sorry. This is not so rapid fire. I forgot to set that table. So take your time answering this. And whiskey, absolutely, it's its own food group. Yep.
Yeah, I find whiskey comforting. If I had to name one thing as an actual food, my wife makes a sourdough crust homemade pizza that is just amazing. It's one of my favorites.
Wait a minute.
That sounds good.
Bro, when I go to a diner or something and it's, you order the toast, I always go with the sourdough toast.
Oh, yeah.
I've never even thought of that with a pizza. That's what I want that.
Try it. It's great. And plus the fact that, my wife made it, and that always gives a little extra.
Yeah, look at that. We got the beef stroganoff. Yeah, it's quick.
Oh, yeah.
See if anybody else got anything here. Yeah. All righty. So, Edward, what do you got?
First of all, whiskey is definitely food.
All right.
I agree. It's a good comfort. I have to say, it's funny because I talked to my wife and I'm like, what, as a comfort food, because she was in here 2 seconds ago, I couldn't think of anything.
Really?
And then it just popped in my head, grilled cheese and tomato soup. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just love that combination.
That's really
and it always, every time I eat it, I don't know, maybe just briefly back to like childhood memories or something. But I like it on sourdough would be really good too, but I like it on rye, like a rye toast.
I'm going to, next 2 hours, all I'm going to be thinking about is sourdough pizza crust, bro. I mean, that's.
Yeah, you got me on that one. I'm like, man, I might get the sourdough.
Yeah, okay. So soup obviously is a good one, and you mentioned it there with tomato soup, but have you seen what Progresso is doing? And I love Progresso soup. I love chicken noodle soup, but I'm not so into what they're offering, which is soup drops.
What?
These are candy drops that taste like soup.
Okay, somebody should have engaged their inner 12-year-old on that subtitle because
soup you can suck on.
Yeah. Somebody didn't think that through.
No.
This is the General Mills press release on this. I'm going to read just part of it. Enjoy soup like never before. Progresso, trademark. Your go-to for comforting premium soups is innovating beyond expectations this cold and flu season with the launch of the first ever limited edition soup drops. What's a soup drop? Well, it's soup you can suck on, of course. Not a million years though. That has got to be so good. That would ruin soup for me.
Yeah.
It's awful.
It's funny you mention that because last Christmas, and like most people, bacon, right? I mean, bacon's way up there.
Yeah.
So my kids sent me this.
Hang on.
Bacon candy.
Yeah, okay.
And it doesn't taste anything like bacon, not even remotely. It just tastes like any hard candy. It's just a little lump of sugar. And I've got, almost the whole thing left because I don't like hard candy.
I hope your kids aren't watching.
Well, the kids would understand. It was kind of a gag thing because Dad loves bacon because who doesn't?
Who wrote this press release? Listen to this. While most folks flock to the cough drop aisle at the first sign of a cold, Progresso is here to say, hold my spoon.
This is real? This isn't a joke?
This is real. 100% real, Ed. Yes.
Wow.
Hold my spoon. Progresso soup drops deliver the classic hearty flavor of Progresso chicken noodle soup in a format that will definitely surprise fans. It's a convenient hard candy drop reminding you of the comfort you can find in a bowl of Progresso soup.
Okay, I'm known on Red State as the man with the golden pun, and I even cringed at that one.
You know what they're doing here? It's got to be that they're just trying to sell Progresso soup. So they make a limited supply of these. You get the name. People talking about Progresso like me. Ta-da, here I am. You win. I don't know, man. Just I just don't like that at all. Just gross.
It looks disgusting. Even the little things in the can there.
I know. Okay, what's up next here? Oh no. Some of these questions. See, I've talked about this before. I've got this game cards. I don't even know the name of the game, but they've got these little questions, deep questions, deeper questions, icebreakers, all stuff. I can tell I got this next question from that. What lessons have you learned the hard way? Like, here's an example. I electrocuted myself. I've told this story, flung me across the room back when I was in high school at my grandparents' house when I was messing with the back of the TV. Lucky to be alive. I'm still a dumbass. So anyway, Ed, what are some lessons you've learned the hard way?
Well, there's probably a lot of them. But one that sticks out to me because I've done it 3 times. So I never learned it until maybe the 3rd. Hopefully there's no 4th. But not having, this was back in the 90s, not having the right lug wrench in my car.
Oh, no.
And I used to travel between New York and Florida a lot, with no money, just enough money for gas to get me from one place to the other. And I didn't have AAA. I don't even know if that existed then. I don't know, but I couldn't afford it if it did. And yeah, I mean, 4:00 in the morning, driving straight through. In North Carolina, it happened. And another time on a different trip, it happened just outside of Jacksonville. So in the middle of nowhere and along the interstate. And both times I knew from the previous time that the lug wrench was wrong. I never switched out when I got back home. I ended up having to have it. One guy at a tow truck just stopped to help me. Another time, a state trooper, this is in Florida, he pulls over. This is about 5 a.m. And I was sleeping at that point because I was like, what the hell else am I going to do? I get out and I even had the 4-way lug, right? Like, which is supposed to fit everything.
Right.
None of them fit. And he pulls over and he's like, all right, I'll have somebody sent here in the next 20, 30 minutes. I was there till 7, 8-ish in the morning, 3 or 4 hours after the cop had left. Nobody ever showed up. Eventually another tow truck drove by and I flagged them down. Luckily, neither one of the guys charged me. I didn't have anything anyway, but they didn't charge me. They just literally took the lugs off. I did the work. I put the little donut on and whatever. But I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So yeah,
hold on a second.
So I didn't really learn.
Right, obviously.
Yeah, so I didn't really learn the hard way. But again, I do now. So I just haven't been tested since then.
Hold on a second. You said this happened in North Carolina.
Yep, North Carolina. Yep. I still remember the town of Rapid. No, wait. Roanoke Rapids. Roanoke Rapids. Yeah, it's right there.
Okay.
An exit sign. Yeah.
North Carolina. It happened again. You said in Jacksonville.
Just out, along the interstate. So it wasn't in Jacksonville. It was out in the country.
Right. But yeah. What was the 3rd location you said?
3rd was upstate New York. It was where I lived. Okay. That was right in my own area. That was the first time. You would think at that point.
So were people nicer than in the South or New York or
No, New York. In New York, my friend owns I went to high school with him. He owns a tow service and a garage. So I went to the person's house and used their phone and called him.
Okay.
And he came out and helped me out. But still, I didn't have that option. 1,000 miles away from there.
I have no idea what Ward is about to say about learning the hard way, but my gut tells me it has something to do with cold weather or something in Alaska and surviving the winters. Am I wrong?
Well, that wasn't the first thing that came to mind. I would say the one thing I learned the hard way was never get involved in a land war in Asia, which I did. I met my wife there. That was Desert Storm, the first Gulf War. I did meet my wife there. We've been married for almost 33 years. So I came out of that fairly well. No, the one that came to mind that didn't end disastrously but could have would be don't shoot at a stick of dynamite.
Yeah.
When my grandfather passed away, I was 14 and he died in June. And that November, my grandmother was making arrangements to turn the farm over to my uncle, who was going to run it. And my cousin and I went out to shoot some pheasants on the farm. And Grandma said, boys, come in after you're done and I'll give you lunch. And we're sitting in there after that eating lunch. And Grandma says, there's a couple of boxes of Grandpa's stuff still out in the barn. You boys go through it. I think that's the last that's left. Take anything you want.
Oh, boy.
Because the rest is going to the dump.
Oh, boy.
So the first thing we found in these boxes was a stack of girly magazines. And it was a couple of years before I realized why Grandpa kept his girly magazines in the barn. And I was like, oh, Grandpa. But there was 2 old, sweaty sticks of dynamite down in the bottom of one of those boxes. And I don't know if you've ever seen dynamite, but when it sweats, it's like crystals. It's not like a liquid. It's like these white crystals form on the stick, and those crystals are nitroglycerin.
Oh.
So we thought, my cousin says, and wonder what would happen if we shot at these with my 22. So we took them out to the back cornfield, stood them up in the fence row, and started shooting. And I'm sure we're hitting them. And we kind of creeped up kind of close and looked. Yeah, there's bullet holes in them, but they didn't go off. So suddenly, this is where things could have gone horribly wrong. And
before you continue, sorry to interrupt you. Where was this? What state are we in?
Oh, this was in eastern Iowa.
Eastern Iowa. Okay, so probably rural, a lot of room here. Okay.
Yeah, it was my grandparents' farm.
Sure, was it down here next to the HOA president?
Oh yeah, the farm had actually been a century farm. It was in my mother's family for over 100 years.
Okay.
My great grandfather homesteaded it before the Civil War.
Oh wow.
Anyway,
cool.
So my cousin had a sudden rush of brains to the head and said, this could be dangerous. And I said, you think? And he said, yeah, because if Grandma hears the 22 shooting, comes out here, sees what we're doing, she'll cut a switch and beat the hell out of both of us. Now, we were a couple of big, tough farm kids. Grandma was 4'10" and maybe weighed 90 pounds, and we had no doubt that she could have beat the hell out of both of us and would have. So that I don't know if that qualifies. It's something that could have ended badly, and I don't know if we would have learned from it or not, because rural kids and explosives just go together like, I guess, like soup and rock candy.
Oh boy. Okay. Let's see. Ward, what was your best concert experience?
Easy. 1978, St. Paul, Led Zeppelin.
Oh, nice.
We got up to within 10 feet of the stage. Robert Plant was standing right over us.
Wow.
Right in front of the speakers, looking up at Robert Plant with his shirt ripped open and the mic. And
he's got the mic out there. He's probably got a cigarette in his hand.
Yep. And now we couldn't hear anything but tinnitus for about 48 hours after the concert.
Ears were ringing, huh? You didn't put any cotton or anything in your ears? It probably wouldn't have made a difference that close to the...
We didn't even when we were shooting in those days. We'd go out and shoot 100 rounds of trap and no hearing protection. You'd be, oh, you did pretty good today. Huh? Nobody thought of those things back then.
Right, yeah.
It was Eddie? The 70s.
Mm-hmm.
I can't top that. Led Zeppelin's one of my favorite. I obviously never saw them, but as you can see, that's
yeah, I see
Zeppelin album cover right there. Yeah. Mine, man, I got so many different ones for different reasons, more fun, whatever. But sonically, sound wise, I saw, oh my God, Roger Waters do the Wall tour in 2010 or 11. He recreated that tour. It was just that album, and that they built up the whole Wall piece by piece as the concert went on, and then they tore through it. And I'm not like I really can't stand him. But
none of us can.
That was the most like just mind blowing show from an audio person's perspective. Like I always find things wrong at shows. I'm one of those people like, oh man, it's bull crap. It's echoing over here, whatever, but I'm telling you, I could not, there was nothing wrong with it. And I was with the right people. Like everything about it was great. Then again, I go back to my like teens and 20s. I had just more party and concerts that were fun in their own way, but that one was just awesome. That was unbelievable.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
And what you do with audio, I do with guns and television and movies.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. My wife makes me keep a jar to stick $1 in every time I criticize. We were watching a movie once that had to do with the British Army in India in the 1930s, and a row of British soldiers runs through the street, just boom, 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 like that, with their rifles on the slings. And I looked at my wife and said, "That's the wrong rifle." And she goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "That's the number 4 Mark 1 Enfield. They should have the number 1 Mark 3, probably from Ishapore Arsenal." And she goes, "How can you tell?" I said, "The muzzle cap is completely different."
Oh man,
that was when that started. And And of course, one of my pet peeves is someone brings up a pistol and you hear it.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
Yeah.
Ward, I think you would enjoy watching movies with my son because he does the same thing. Like he knows like which gun belongs in which period of history, and if it's wrong, he'll pause it. He'll be like, "Okay, so that's not accurate." That's awesome, man. Let's see. So what's a random thing that you know a lot about, Ed?
I don't know if it's random, but not a lot of people do it. Is like home brewing, making my own beer. Yeah. So I mean, like, that's, like I said, it's not really random, but it's something that I've really taken a knack to and kind of dove into about 10, 15 years ago. I haven't done it a lot recently. I've gotten more into whiskey and bourbons and scotches and stuff over the last couple of years, but I still have the setup. I still brew maybe twice a year. I used to brew all the time. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's really like a weird or uncommon thing, but it's not really common that people home brew, but that's kind of, couldn't think of anything else that I know a lot about that's random.
You know what? I'm sending you a text, and it's really just a reminder for myself. And I just said it right now. If you want to read it, if your phone is within reach, I don't know if you want to read that text because this, like you just said at the onset, you're 20 miles from me. So the little text says,
"Go." Oh, like Keith, go drinking Eds.
Yeah. So I'll be over there real soon.
Please do. I got and bring your wife too, because I don't know if she likes ciders. I made a really good hard cider that's on tap out in the garage as well. So.
I'm too far away, but I'd be tempted to next time I'm in the 48 to drop by.
Anytime. I always love people coming over for drinking.
You don't make any wine, do you? Right?
No, I tried wine once or twice a while back. It just tastes like awful grape juice. It just doesn't taste like wine. Not me. I've had some other people's homemade wine, and I've never met anyone yet that has made it to taste like a bottle of wine. It always just has like my beer, not just my beers, but I've had a lot of other people, homebrewers beers. They actually taste like a beer you would buy. You know what I mean? Like a beer. But any wine that I've always had, handcrafted, it's always tasted like it's like a juice more than a wine, in my opinion, my experience. Yeah.
My wife makes dandelion wine, and I'm not a wine guy. It tastes good to me, but we have a friend who is a wine guy. He has his own label, and he appreciated it. He thought it was pretty good, but I'm not qualified to say whether a wine is good or not. I'm a beer and whiskey guy.
Yeah, but I'm going to sound like an idiot here, but dandelion wine?
Dandelion wine, you use the blossoms.
Really?
Yeah.
That is fascinating.
Yeah, my grandmother made it. My grandmother made plum wine, blackberry wine, all kinds of wines. And my wife actually adapted her recipe for dandelion wine. And boy, do we have a lot of dandelions up here in the summer.
Keith, if it has sugar in it, you can convert that to alcohol. So so that's the key.
Yeah. Okay. I guess Ward, you've kind of already answered that. A random thing you know a lot about. I mean, you said it was guns, and what was the other thing you said?
The first when you asked Ed that question, the first thing that came to mind with me that a lot of people might not understand is ancient Greek philosophers that my dad started me reading when I was about 14. My dad had me reading Aristotle, and being an old soldier, one of my favorite quotes is from a guy named Heraclitus who lived about 1500 BC, I think, talking about armies and soldiery. And he said, of every 100 men on a battlefield, 80 of them are just targets. 10 of them shouldn't be there at all. 9 are the fighters, and we should be glad for them, for they make the fight. But the one is a warrior, and he will bring the others home. And that always stuck in my mind because I served in Desert Storm under one of the last great warfighting generals that the U.S. military has ever had, and that was Norman Schwarzkopf. The guy was a warrior, and we need warriors. We don't have many of them right now. Not wearing stars anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think Pete Hegseth is a warrior.
Boy. That's that vote is going to be
later today.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get confirmed. It'll be narrow, but
50-50 with JD Vance probably breaking the tie.
Yeah.
if y'all see that flash across, holler, please. You mentioned something there, Schwarzkopf. What were you saying? Hell, it'll come back to me, I'm sure. Or probably not. But
I actually saw him once. Yeah, from a distance, I saw this big Black Hawk with wing tanks land, and this big stocky guy got out of it and stomped into a building. I was sitting there, standing in an office in Riyadh, about to bug the Medcom S4 or G4 actually for some materials we needed. And while I was waiting to be a pain in his ass, I saw this helicopter come in, so I walked over to the window. Oh wow, that's General Schwarzkopf.
There he is.
Very cool.
Let's see here. Okay, where are we at, gentlemen? A game show. This is a fun one, I think. Ward, what kind of game show which game show would you like to be on?
I don't know what game shows there are now. I watch almost no television.
That's fair.
I guess I would say from back in the day, maybe Hollywood Squares.
Oh, yeah, that would be fun.
I want to sit next to Paul Lynde. I mean, I always thought he was funny in those.
Yes. Good. So good.
That's just the only one I can think of.
Yeah.
I guess the Newlywed Game, except
Jeopardy.
my wife and I haven't been newlyweds for 3 decades.
Yeah, Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune. I mean, I'm with you. The Family Feud, that's out there. I don't know. What about you, Eddie?
Yeah, I'm not into a lot of game shows, really, even back in the day. But there was one I used to like when I was a kid. I don't remember what it was called, but there was like people in the audience, and then there was like levels of different like packages that were wrapped like presents, and you could pick one and grab it. And like, I don't remember what the name of the show even was, but that looked cool because it was just a bunch of presents, and I was a kid, and but I really don't I can't stand most game shows. I'm not big in TV either. I like movies and some TV shows, but not really. Never got into games. So
yeah,
like Family Feud would be cool. A lot with my family, but if I can watch somebody else, it'd be fun.
Yeah, borrow a family for the occasion. Yeah. I remember Let's Make a Deal with Monty Hall,
right?
Which was kind of fun. And but whenever I think of that, the thing I flash back to being a child of the 70s was the Cheech and Chong skit "Let's Make a Dope Deal."
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, which is pretty funny.
Wait, well, Let's Make a Deal. That might be the one.
Yeah.
Did it have almost like stairs going up, and they had to?
Oh, maybe. It's been so long.
It sounds like the name of it. I don't know. I was a kid, but
and the door number 1, door number 2, and door number 3.
That was at
the end they had to pick, and in that skit, they're picking a door, and of course he finally decides on door number 3. And the announcer goes behind, and there's a siren behind door number 3. Is Sergeant Stadenko, Narcotics Squad. You're busted.
Oh, man. Okay.
It was a funny bit.
That sounds good. Yeah, I need to check that out. I don't know if it was MTV or VH1. It was one of those two. I don't know. Early 2000s, it feels like, and it wasn't on long. But I don't even remember any of the game. I really just don't. And then at the very end, they put you in a chamber. I think the clock starts with a minute or 2 minutes or whatever. And I think you're asked 10 questions, but you got to pick the topic. I don't know what game this was, but I thought, oh my gosh. Oh, ask me 10 Falcons questions, Atlanta Falcons. Ask me 10 about the band, the Connells. That's what I would have loved to pick, because the final round is you're proving your knowledge on a topic that you gave them to research. And I think that's a really cool way to finish that game.
Yeah.
Is there a reality show that you would ever agree to appear on, Ed?
No.
No, I'm with you, man.
Yeah, if it ends there, I can't stand. Only the first reality shows was The Real World, I think, in the early 90s or early 90s. Yeah, I mean, I remember watching those. Again, it was because I was young and stupid.
But I love that show. I love the opening with the cowboy guy from Kentucky. True story.
Oh yeah, that's the only reality show I even liked in my life. I really don't. Well, okay, but if I was going to be on one, and this is more of a competition than reality, I don't know. But The Amazing Race, we watched that. I watched that because I just find it the competition's great, and you get to see the world without traveling.
Yeah, well,
so if that's considered reality, I mean, it's people in the competition, but that would be one I would go on for sure.
Okay.
None of the other ones. Yeah, I know that's a boring answer, but
that's fine. It's totally fine. Mr. Ward?
Well, there again, I don't watch much television, but I do know that there are a number of reality shows around Alaska, and most of them are horse squeeze. They're garbage. Most Alaskans will tell you, that's not what it's like. These people are probably from California. Bring them up here every summer and film. I do remember. I think most reality TV isn't. I do remember early on there was some show where they dumped people like on a desert island or something, and my sister was watching it.
Oh,
and my father came in. My father hated television. He would turn on. He had one television in the house, and he'd turn it on for 5 minutes in the morning to get the weather. He had it permanently tuned to the weather station, and then he turned it off. He never looked at it again the rest of the day. But he came in one time at a family get together. My sister's watching this show, and she had explained it to him. And, they have to gather their own food or they can go hungry. And Dad says they can't get the film crew to give them a sandwich. And I thought about that. And I said, there's probably a craft table right off camera.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, that's Survivor. And I think there was a scandal of some sort. It seems like at one point, there was something like that happening where somebody was getting fed or something. I don't know. I don't watch the show. I
would be surprised if they weren't.
Right. All right, Ed, you got, let's see, we already talked about, you said the real world. Yeah, that's okay. Do you like to plan trips out to the, down to the minute, Ward, or do you just wing it? Do you just pick some place to go and you're like, we'll figure it out when we get there?
Yes. Normally we wing it. We a lot of Sundays we'll hop in the car, and granted, when we leave our house, there's only two directions we can go. We can go towards Anchorage or away from Anchorage. We always go away from Anchorage, and then just kind of wander around. There aren't that many side roads you can take. There's only one highway, and there's a road that goes over to Petersburg, and there's a road way up north. The Denali Highway goes over through howling wilderness. But no, we tend to just kind of wing it. Later this year, our two younger daughters and our son-in-law are going to Japan for a week, and they want us to accompany them. We probably will, and we'll probably land in Tokyo. And I know Tokyo pretty well. I've done a lot of business in Japan, and we'll probably just wing it. Go see the Imperial Palace one day. The kids have been there before, too. My wife speaks Japanese, reads it, so she gets along well in a country where I'm functionally illiterate. But yeah, we tend to just wing it.
All right, Ed.
Yeah, back in the day, I would plan everything. I mean, friends of mine even nicknamed me Clark Griswold, because I had everything structured. Like, we got to be here, we got to do this, we got to do that.
That's awesome.
But I'm totally opposite now. The things are trips. Like, if we do little Texas weekends or drives, just going somewhere for the afternoon or even like a night, we wing it completely. When we go on vacation, if we're going whatever, Carolinas, Florida, wherever, they always seem to revolve around distilleries or breweries. Other than that, we wing it. So it's like, that's the only thing we kind of research. We're going wherever. All right, what breweries are there and what distilleries, and we'll make sure we hit one or two of those, and then the rest of the time, the rest of the 4 or 5 days, whatever, we just wing it. So
yeah,
I've gone both sides of it.
I understand. Yeah.
Ed, if you're ever in Alaska, we have the Denali Brewery about 25 miles north of us.
Denali?
The Denali Brewery. Beers and Denali Brewing whiskey, too. The distillery side of it.
Ed and I will actually be up there together real soon to see this Denali Brewery of yours. People in the chat, since you brought up Denali, they're having the same thought I have. What are your thoughts on the Denali / Mount McKinley naming situation? Where where are Alaskans on that? Honestly,
most of the people I know around here have always called it Denali. Alaska, the state of Alaska, and I'm a big states' rights guy. I'm a big on federalism, and the state of Alaska was trying to get the name changed actually back to Denali officially since 1975.
Wow.
Most people I know around here have always said that we've always called it Denali. You know, the president can say whatever he wants. We're going to keep calling it Denali. That's what it is.
It'll change the signage, though, won't it?
Yeah. And that's fine. Alaskans are stubborn people, and like, you can put up all the Mount McKinley signs you want, and we'll call it Denali.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But it's not a huge deal. If people like to call it Mount McKinley, we all know what they're talking about.
Right. Okay, so let's see here. This topic came up yesterday on my day job, Pat Gray Unleashed. Me, Jeffy, and Chris were kind of talking about this, came up, and I just mentioned how my grandfather was so cheap that, I mean, he graciously bought meals, took us out to lunch, dinner, stuff like that. But then when it came time to tip the server, you might have a $50 bill on the table, check, and he would leave maybe $1 or $2. And then you get up to leave and you're like, wait, what? No. And so you wait till Papa has his back turned or he's out in the parking lot or whenever you can run back in and put more money on the table. Have you ever done that, gone behind someone's back, a family member, a friend that, leaves a tip and you're like, oh my gosh, did you ever run back? Or maybe you guys are the Papa in the story and somebody's behind your back adding to the tip. I don't know.
No, I usually go back and take the tip, because I just want it myself. No. I would never. I would do that though, 100%. I don't think I ever have had to do that, but I'm that way too. Like if I was there and that situation came up, I think I'd wait for them to leave. I wouldn't do it in front of them. Yeah. Just drop like whatever I thought was probably a little bit more. That way they don't have to feel humiliated or read me out for doing it or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way. I'm a fairly generous tipper, and my wife, her family was in food service. Her father ran cafeterias for over 16 years. He was almost 80 before we convinced him to retire, and he's a good tipper because of the experience. When you were talking about your grandfather, Keith, you could have been talking about my dad. My dad, he was a child of the Depression. Both my parents were, and they took frugality to an extreme. Now, anything Mom wanted, he'd buy her. Us kids always had everything we needed. He was probably an average tipper when the rare occasions you got him in a restaurant. But he had this old brown nylon vest that he bought, he thinks, about 1955, and wore it for the rest of his life. He died in 2018, so do the math how old that vest was.
Jeez. Wow.
At one point, the collar had been torn off. He sewed it back on with monofilament fishing line and sealed it with epoxy glue.
That's dedication.
We all bought him new vests. Dad was a little guy. He was 5'5" and maybe 130 pounds. So you have to find a vest, and it couldn't have a logo on it. It couldn't have any bright colors on it, or he wouldn't even touch it. And he'd wear a new vest for a week or so, and then you go back and he'd have that old brown vest on again. Said, "Oh, that one, the collar was itchy, or I didn't like it. It didn't fit right." When he died, he was 94. He took ill very suddenly, went to the hospital, and from hospital into hospice, and he was gone in a matter of days. But we know my mom put him in the ambulance in the middle of the night, and she knew he didn't have the vest with him. Nobody took it to the hospital or to the hospice because there was no reason to. We all saw it hanging in the coat closet near their front door. But after Dad died, we went through the house because my mom had to, go into a assisted living. So they sold the house, and none of us could find that vest. It just disappeared. And we're all convinced that somehow Dad figured out how to take it with him. Now, you want frugality, that's frugality. Yeah. Even unto death, he would not surrender that vest.
Incredible. I mean, I've got a coat that I got in January of 1994. And
I have lived in that thing. It is so tattered and repaired and fixed, and Carrie hates it, but I will not allow it to be thrown away, because even if I never wear that again, because it took forever, I finally found a coat that I can accept, but I'm not thrilled, because this coat is still comfortable. It's gross. I look like a hobo. Oscar the Grouch is better dressed than me when I wear this thing. But and I need to go and reiterate this while I'm thinking about it after this show today. I've got to go and remind the family, that's what I'm getting buried in. Not a suit. I don't need to look nice. I need to be buried in my nasty, dirty, gross, dark green coat with the perfect pockets. I need to remind
Those are the best.
They are so good.
I've got a pair of boots that still have cow shit on them. I still wear them all the time.
That's awesome.
I've had them. I think they're 40 years old.
Oh, wow.
They're on their third set of soles.
Wow. What a great segue. You didn't even know this. On this day, January 24th, back in 1899, the first rubber-heeled boots were patented. There you go. We were walking around with just wooden shoes, I guess, until 1899. I don't know if you guys ever go to Dunkin' Donuts, but shout out to those of you who have had to suffer in the last week or so in Omaha, Lincoln, Grand Island, Nebraska, Albuquerque, New Mexico. For some reason, those locations, Dunkin' Donuts didn't have any donuts for a few days. I don't know how it happened. And supply chain issue, but that's
that seems like a company called Dunkin' Donuts. If they assured their supply of anything, it would be
right
donuts.
So much for the guy time to make the donuts, right?
Yeah.
He wakes up, he makes the donuts, or is it now? Should they change it to time to ship the donuts? Because somebody dropped the ball.
Yeah, that's weird.
That is a weird story. Okay, let me with me here as I try to share. I've got a screen issue here. Well, I wanted to play these videos, and remember, I already set the table. We're going to have an issue with audio. So let me try to find this. So I want to know how you guys would react to this. Let's say you're at the beach, you're just minding your own business. A stranger just wanders up on you, and he does this to you. If it's hard to see, you're going to see a gentleman approach a guy, and multiple people start throwing water balloons, but he leaves a bucket so that the guy can play along if he would like, right? What do you think of this? I mean, haha. See, like after you get over the initial, I'm pissed at you, but you realize he's given you a supply of ammunition as well. I don't know. I go back and forth. I don't know if I'd be pissed or if I'd be having fun. Probably a little bit of both. Wow. But anyway, so that's his thing. And I just wonder, how would you react if somebody came up and started throwing water balloons at you, but then you realize, oh wait, he gave me a supply too. I don't know.
I'm sorry, but yeah, I think being at the beach would really benefit them because I probably wouldn't be carrying. Because my initial reaction would be, what the hell is this? Because you don't know if somebody's throwing like acid. The way the world is.
That's such a great point.
If I instantly saw him put the bucket down, I don't know. I don't think I would probably just be like, what is wrong with? I don't think I'd probably engage in it, but I would get it at that point. Just be like, that's funny, but get some kid to do that. I don't know.
I mean, it's not. Remember, it's probably 90 degrees and sunny, so it might feel good. But you're right. I don't know if that's piss that you just threw at me.
Yeah, catch you off guard. Yeah, and and I don't like those situations anyway. Even like watching some of those TV shows that the hidden camera stuff, and they do. I can't even like watch them without like cringing because I don't know. It drives me crazy. Like, so I don't know how I would react in one of those situations. It could either be very, very bad or very, very good.
Ignore the balloons, ignore the bucket, and just tackle him.
That could happen. That would have happened 15, 20 years ago for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, Ward, how would you respond?
I would have been looking around for Alan Funt. I don't know. I'm kind of with Ed on that one. I don't know how I'd react. I would not be a bit surprised for any one of my three sons-in-law to pull this because they're all three smartasses and they never know. Let's go get Dad's half asleep over there and a little drunk. Let's go throw water balloons at him. But if it was just some stranger,
Yeah, right.
I think I'd be like, "What the hell's wrong with you?"
Right. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to do this every week, but last week I finished the show with a video. If you didn't see this, go back and watch the end of last week's Friday live stream. But there's a glass bridge in China. And so you're supposed to walk across it. I mean, it's like, just imagine being at the Grand Canyon on a bridge that's made of glass, and you're supposed to walk over it and enjoy the view. But people were freaking out. People were crawling on it. People were holding onto the sides. I just, no. So I think I'm going to start trying to find a video every week. We'll see how long I do this, called Would You Do This? And what this is, today we have a video. It's the side of a cliff, and what you're looking at is a spiral staircase. Oh, we don't need audio here. We don't need audio. So would you walk up this thing? I mean, this is a workout, y'all. I mean, I want to see the zoomed out version of this. Look at that thing. That is, I don't know. What do you think? You gonna do that? No. Is that your height thing or what?
Yeah, it's a height thing with me. Yeah, I over the years developed a heights issue. There's no way. I can't even watch people stand near ledges without it bothering me. I don't know what the hell's happened to me.
It happened to me too, Ed. I'm the same way. My wife and I went to the Grand Canyon. I couldn't get within 20 feet.
Yeah.
She's over there looking down over the rail, looking down, and I'm good. I'm good back here.
Well, here in Dallas, they have Reunion Tower, Keith. You know, that thing looks like a golf ball.
I've still never been in there. Is that cool?
We went to we had an anniversary dinner or whatever. Wolfgang Puck's restaurant was up top for a while. I think it's closed down now, but
okay.
And the elevator's one of those on the outside. So you go up and you see.
Yeah.
I was literally facing like the doors as close as I could get with everything. And I was one of like 10 people in the elevator. I'm just standing there facing. I couldn't even move. And I didn't care how I looked or whatever. I could just imagine like the door opening and I'm just like right there. But I couldn't do that inside of something. There's no way I'd be able to do that spiral. No.
I mentioned Tokyo. There's two big towers in Tokyo, the Tokyo Tower and the Oshiagi Sky Tree. And it's a big date thing in Tokyo. You know, young people go on a date. One of the things is go up in the tower. And my wife and I were in Oshiagi because there's a big shopping center there, and we were buying some stuff like my Tanaki, thanks to the Daiso 100 yen store in Oshiagi. Tanaki brings you good luck. But somebody asked, you going to go up in the sky tree? And my wife's like, you want to? I'm like, no. But it's enclosed. There's glass, plexiglass. No. Nope. Not going up in that thing.
I'm a pass.
Yeah.
On airplanes, I sit in the aisle seat so I can't see out the window.
Oh, that's interesting.
That doesn't bother me. Airplane.
It doesn't bother me as much, but if I don't like being too near the window. Plus, I have the old man's thing that I have to get up more frequently than I used to have to 30 years ago. So
let's noodle this out. I am not expecting logic here, but as you guys are explaining this, I'm thinking, now hang on a second. That bridge made of glass, I would not enjoy that. I would be, if I did it, and it makes no sense, but I would be holding onto the side where it's like I think it was like a little narrow area of metal, before the glass. I'd be worried about the glass shattering and you falling through. But let's just think this through. That bridge has stood there with however many people walking across it back and forth, enjoying it, blah, blah, blah. But I don't want to do that. But like you said, in an airplane, I'm up much higher. I'm depending on strangers flying this plane with mechanical parts that could fail. Birds could fly in the engines, whatever. It's like, why are we so comfortable? I don't know if it's like this across the board, but I'm so much more comfortable in an airplane, but not comfortable at all in this glass bridge. I don't know the logic. I don't know if there is any, but I don't.
Well, that's why it's a phobia. A phobia is an irrational fear.
Huh. I was going to kind of say something similar. Like it's not that I'm scared I'm going to die or anything or fall. Right. It's not a safety concern for me. It's just the phobia, the fear of just being up high. Not that I'm even worried about falling. It's just, it bothers me.
Yeah.
So maybe deep down, it's rooted deep down inside of me. I'm scared I'm going to fall. But an airplane, yeah, you got much better chance to die in an airplane probably than that bridge ever falling. Right? I mean, that's
see,
airplanes.
They have one of those at the Grand Canyon too. Apparently, it's on one of the Indian reservations. They got a glass walkway. It's not a bridge. It's just a walkway out over the canyon.
Yeah, the Navajos have that, right?
Yeah. And I would rather spend the weekend with my first wife's mother than to walk out on that thing.
Okay. All right. So, have you guys seen this picture? I think it's been making the rounds here. This is we got proof of time travel, gentlemen. I don't know if you see this.
Boy.
This is a Greek. That's a Greek style like carving, ancient Greek, and there's a woman and she's using a laptop. See that? You see that, right? Look at that.
No. The obvious answer is, well, it's not a laptop because there were no laptops. What that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What that could be, back in those times, they used wax tablets to write on, and they worked rather well because you could scrape them smooth and write on them again. It was like a Etch-a-Sketch.
Uh-huh.
And I have seen some that were hinged like a book, and usually you saw them open side to side, but they could have opened that way. It's a more logical explanation than a laptop because, no, there weren't any laptops.
What is so great is this thing's existed forever, and nobody ever even thought, oh, it's a laptop until we invented the laptop, and now they've gone back and they've, oh, look at that. But I just think it's just so funny how those two holes, they're saying that they think that at some point when they were trying to, I guess, reinforce it, they probably drilled a couple of stabilizers or something that fell out. But I think it's just absolutely hysterical. It looks so fun. But yeah, they're saying this might be a music box. It might be a mirror. But I think it's fun because a lot of people think it's.
Plus, USB ports aren't round.
No.
That's a fairly obvious objection.
That art is stupid. Yeah. They got it wrong. Okay, let me having to jump back and forth between Chrome and Windows here, or Explorer. Standby. Okay, so do either of you guys have cats?
Yeah.
You do. You have cats?
One.
Okay. One cat. Do you ever talk to it?
It talks to me every morning.
Yeah. Well, this sucks. I don't think I have audio. We're about to find out the hard way, but I can totally recreate this if it doesn't work because I can't. Let's see if this guy here, if the audio comes through. Can you hear this guy?
No,
you don't hear him. Okay, so what's happening here is you're going to see this video, and I'm going to just recreate what everybody's saying, and it's. Because that apparently means in cat speak, come here. So every time you see one of these cats responding, the owner is going. So I want you to try that. I don't know if your cat's in the room, Ed, but just you might want to try that at some point and report back because we'll all be waiting to hear this. But here we go. I'll be everybody's owner. What's that, Ed?
No. I'm like, I'll do it at some point. Yeah, I'll try it.
Yeah. Record it too. All right. Here we go. Okay. All right, so look at that. He comes in. See that? And this cat, the owner's saying, what? Okay, I'll come over there. Where's the cat? There, yeah, look at that, huh? And that cat got down and came over. This is so hilarious. I can't wait to go back and watch this where I'm the audio. Whoa, this guy goes, and the cat just turns on a dime. So all these cats are like, now I don't know if you said to these cats, anything, maybe they come, but I want Ed to try that. I want Ed to try that and report back to us, would you?
I could definitely try that. I would like to see somebody try that with like 10 random cats because anybody could pick a bunch of videos that happens with. I'm the cynic here, but I mean, like, You can make almost any noise, and cats.
That's what I'm wondering.
Cats are curious.
That's what I want to say.
Right? They're curious. They want to know what the hell's going on. Oh, what? Huh?
Yeah. Our youngest daughter has a cat, and she calls it by going yeah, NYAA. I guess you'd say yeah, and the cat comes. It just
Actually, I'll do both. I'll do that, and I'll do the other one.
Now, if you could get that meow sound effect and maybe put it on a loud. We don't have a cat up here, but we do have a lynx that's hanging around. Maybe I wonder if it would come to that. Because I've been wanting a prime winter lynx pelt, and that would be maybe a way to get one.
All right, so both of you have projects that you're going to need to report back to us on. Let's see here. I'm going to try to share these videos. I don't know if they're going to have the same impact without the audio, guys, but I'm going to give it a shot. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, let's stay on the cats for a second here. Because these cats, they are so synced up. Is the word synchronicity? Look at this. I mean, that's wild. Oh. All right, so you got these cats. Look at that. Wow. Okay, hold on. All right, yeah, we know that one. Oh, yeah, that's wild. Oh, that was wild. Do you see that? They lick their lips at the same exact. Look at that. That is hilarious. Uh-oh. All right. We don't need to. Thank you. There you go. So there you go. Synchronized cats. Interesting stuff.
I think that supports my assertion that you probably seen the Birds Aren't Real, a parody site.
Yes.
I've thought about starting one that cats aren't real, and they're actually, mechanized automatons, and you could say something like this: "Look, they're perfectly aligned."
Right.
Nature doesn't work that way.
What is it that help me out here?
They're spy drones.
Yeah, they're spy drones, but they're NPCs.
Yeah,
right.
They're probably manufactured in China or Iran or someplace like that.
You actually reminded me. There was like one of those News of the World or whatever, National Enquirer, something like that. I'll never forget because I had cats growing up, and I think the headline said that cats are alien spies. And so if you have a cat in your home, it's transmitting everything you're doing back to a hostile planet. So like I forgot all the details of it, but it's just like I think I went home from the grocery store. I looked at my cats. I was like, yeah, I could totally see that.
There used to be a website. It's now defunct, sadly, called Scary Squirrel World. And it was all about the squirrel conspiracy for world domination. Tons of articles and photographs and video. And it just disappeared, which is kind of sad.
That's too bad. Well, that's because the truth was out there. Yeah. And the government couldn't allow that site.
Well, clearly the squirrels, engaged, probably with the Obama administration to take it down, because that's what time frame it was. I'm sure that's not a coincidence.
I'm sure it's not. Okay. I pulled this one because if I were a dog, this would be me. Somebody crashed the golf cart, so I checked the cameras to see what happened. It's a dog. It's a dog driving the golf cart.
Oh, wow.
He jumped in there and took it for a run. Right. The truck destroyed the pool. It just gets out like nothing happened. Like what?
I was probably drinking.
Yeah.
Probably drinking.
Look like.
Let's see here. Hang on a second. Let me get this other video going. What is this one? I don't even know. I'm just clicking videos right. Oh, so this one is just a bunch of dogs wreaking havoc. So check this. This is. Oh no. See, I can hear the audio, you can't, but just know that a lot of things are breaking. Oh. Jumped up there and knocked. Oh, no. Oh. That's a beagle causing trouble. What? Oh, you can't see that? But that, so back here. So this, the amount of clattering happening, and I apologize that there's no audio, gang. The amount of clattering and dishes, I think his collar got stuck or something in the dishwasher, like, mesh or whatever. And so he ends up dragging, and all these dishes just go shattering. Oh, bad. Okay, so this, I moved this up because it was blocked. That's a glass table in the middle.
Oh.
Well, not anymore. Okay, that guy just slid into something. Okay, this dog. Oh, I could see this happening to me. This dog is leashed to this right column. Okay.
Oh no.
And he sees a squirrel or something. Tanner would have totally done this back in the day. Watch this. Did you see that? He just took the house with him. Oh no. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no. No. Oh, what a bad dog. That's a dog with a derelict owner. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this one's not good either. What'd you do? He says. He's barking. He's excited about it. He's like, what do you mean, what did I do? I just tore up your house. Are you happy about that? I decorated for you. Anyway.
That one scene with the pulling all the tables off, the tablecloth off, with the remind me of a Christmas Story where the dogs come in and just rip up the Thanksgiving on the table. Oh.
Okay. Guys, I don't know what to think of this. Please help me to understand this. There's a camera, and it's faced outward, and there is cat food on this table. This dog has located this cat food, and the dog is going to town on the cat food. This is how it's set up. So I want you to watch what transpires here. So there's the camera. He got bumped there. It got bumped because there's a cat next to the camera, which you will see. All right, so look at the dog. He's trying to be on his best behavior. All right, see that? He's like, oh, hell, what is that? Is that a camera? Oh, I don't like that camera. Move it this way because I don't want it to record me eating the cat food. The cat comes down and goes, screw you, bro. That's my cat food. So the cat then comes over here, jumps up here and goes, hey, owners, I want you to see what Fido's doing over here. Let me move the camera back so you can see this. Huh. What the hell?
That's clever.
What? I am stunned. I think that is hysterical.
That's funny.
I mean, because it's not just I moved the camera so I could get away with my crime. It's then I move the camera back so he can't get away with the crime. Animals, man, they're just, I don't know.
Well, the lesson in that clearly is a cat will sell you out every time.
My cat's not even smart enough to do that, so I'm not, yeah.
Well, you don't know yet. You have to try the meh.
That's right.
They'll get back to us. Did I... And please, wonderful people in the chat. Oh, I'm so grateful for the feedback and the participation. I don't think you guys can see them, and I'm sorry about that. Another limitation with this new streaming service that I hate. Anyway, I didn't do the Cursive story last week, y'all, did I? About the National Archives wanting people who can read Cursive to translate. To transcribe documents like lost in history because I guess it's a dying art. It's certainly
that's what I hear.
Yeah, and it's something that they're not even teaching now.
Yeah.
And I remember my boss Glenn Beck warning of this probably a decade ago, but I didn't know it was so bad that we have to get people in here to go through 200 years worth of documents, U.S. documents that just for posterity. I mean, that is, you don't recall the Cursive story. Thank you, Toby. This is just embarrassing. So Suzanne Isaacs, manager of the National Archives catalog in Washington, D.C., quote, now listen to this. And all of you watching here, okay? I'm not ashamed of you, Julie. I see you there. I want everybody to know, if you can read Cursive, listen to what the director of the National Archives says. Quote, reading Cursive is a superpower. Now, I read that line and I immediately thought, I am in the movie Idiocracy.
Now, that's a bit of a stretch.
If reading Cursive makes you a superhero, the bar is quite low now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I thought, when I saw that, I thought I thought, you know what? This would be a fun job right here. You show up, you amaze everybody at the National Archives, and you get a check for this, and you go home. And then I read, and in true government fashion, it doesn't pay. They just want you to volunteer your time. But I thought I was a superhero now.
Yeah. It's funny. I obviously can read and write cursive, but I would say most of my adult life, I print.
Yeah,
I don't write cursive. Yeah. My signature, of course, but so I've come to think of it, my writing is horrible. It's got to be because I haven't done it in 25, 30 years.
Yeah.
My father had a beautiful copperplate script handwriting, but he went to school in the 20s and 30s when they still taught that. They taught it. I learned cursive, but I haven't used it except for my signature, which you can make out the W and the rest is a scribble.
Yeah, me too. Get 2 letters. That's it.
But I don't think, I think my oldest kid was taught cursive in school. She's 42. The younger ones are all in their 30s, and I don't think any of them, I don't remember them being taught cursive. I don't think they know how to write it.
Do you think okay, do you think that this not teaching cursive anymore, do you think that is a conspiracy? We can't read our founding documents? Or is it just, teach them how to do this instead? I don't know.
I wouldn't put it past that, just honestly, but I don't think so. I mean, I think when I was taught cursive, I don't know if this was taught, but I think it was just because you could do it faster. It is faster than printing.
That's what Julie, who I am not ignoring over the chat, says.
The competition to writing fast now was texting or emailing or whatever with a computer. So maybe printing, you know what I mean? Maybe the cursive is just going out because it's not needed to write fast anymore. I don't know.
Well, then that's for conspiracy of founding documents. You can get all the founding documents on the internet in text. I mean, I've got bookmarked the Constitution, the Federalist Papers, all I can pull up on my screen, and they're in type, and I can read them. You can read those. That's not. I think it's just kind of a sign of it's a changing world. We deal now with each other through emails and text messages, and like we're doing here on computer, or we can actually see each other face to face, and there just isn't the need for it anymore. I mean, when I was a little kid, I kept in touch with cousins and my grandparents and stuff by writing letters. So we didn't even use the phone that much because you had long distance charges.
Yeah.
But now it's we talk to our grandkids on video chats, FaceTime or whatever it is on my wife's Mac thing that she has. I've never received a letter from any of my grandchildren. I've got 6 of them. The oldest one's 23. I've never gotten a letter from them.
Oh, yeah. And that's one thing that my 99-year-old grandmother, she wants my oldest daughter, who doesn't live here anymore, lives in another state. She's like, write me a letter, and it's like, what's that?
What, you mean like on paper?
Right. Yeah. And that's what Aslan says. She goes, then I have to go buy stamps. But see, I mean, Nana doesn't text. You see, I mean, it's a completely different generation. Now she can work a tablet, and she knows how to handle YouTube. That's actually pretty fun to see her navigate that. But yeah, it's you're talking about, somebody mentioned that it's a mix of it's almost Spanglish because it's a mix of print and cursive. But for me, I find that I just go back and forth in writing capital letters or lowercase. Like my brain can't decide if it wants to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so half of it will be in like a capital H, and I was like, why didn't I do that for the previous word? I have a lowercase h. I'm so, you know what else too I find is I think I'm so used to texts.
See that? That's
your H at the end is capped, and you're seeing me.
Yeah, the key, I'll do this all the time. I mean, I did this for an example, but like sometimes, anyway, what were you saying? I'm sorry, Ed.
Oh, no, just I'm so used to just being able, and I'm terrible at typing on a keyboard too. Like I use like 3 fingers, maybe 4. Like I don't do the proper way. I remember back in high school, I was like, why do I need to learn how to type? Who's going to need to know how to type? I'm not ever going to. Yeah. So I've learned how to do it pretty quick my way. but I just find myself hitting backspace more than I hit any other key. But when I'm writing now or texting, so I can pretty much use my computer, go pretty fast, and texting pretty quick. So now when I'm printing and I'm writing something, I find myself getting ahead. Like I want to be able to write faster and I can't. So I'm like crossing my T or dotting an I before I've even written the I. Like I'm getting so far ahead of myself because I'm so slow at doing it. I'm like, what? So it's not even worth it to me anymore. If I do, I'm so slow at doing it. It takes me forever to write like 5 words, just because. It's really neat, but.
Yeah. My hand, even when I'm writing in print, my handwriting is terrible. My father was always disappointed in my brothers and my handwriting, whether we were writing in block letters or script. But I've gotten pretty good with the keyboard because, of course, that's how I make my living. Literally sitting at the keyboard. The problem is I have these big gorilla hands, and apparently I'm hard on keyboards because I hit the keys very heavy, and I go through a keyboard about every 6 months.
I've had people ask me if I was angry. Why do you think I'm angry? Well, I don't know, because you keep pounding the keyboard. I'm just very demonstrative. I want to make sure that the keys go in.
Yeah, well, that's me. My wife can hear me over here banging on the keyboard.
Ed, you were talking about typing and writing. I don't understand this. I'm notorious for Post-it notes all over the place. Just like I can't turn this board here, but I'm looking at a cork board with 2, 4, 6, 8, 20, probably 20 Post-it notes anyway. And I can't decide am I not using the available tools on my phone to write notes or whatever. And I know it's because I like, at the end of the day, when I'm done with all the stuff I have to do, I can throw away the Post-it note. That's off my mind. Boom, boom, boom. If it's still there in the morning, then I got to do that tomorrow. Blah blah blah. The problem is, when you're so busy and you fall behind, and then before you know it, you're starting your day with like 5 Post-it notes. Like, damn, this week it sucked. So anyway, I think it's because it's I like having the tactile, being able to have that, throw it away, and that's an accomplishment. But also, I think what did you say? You said it's faster for you type than it is to write. Is that what you said, Ed? For you?
Yeah,
because I'm just the opposite. I feel so slow and old when I'm like on my phone. I'm like, I need to write a note here to myself or what. I'm just like, screw it. Where's the Post-it note?
If I'm taking notes, like I still take notes. I have notes all over the place. I handwrite everything, but then I transcribe them later. If I want to save something, I'll put it in a document or something, so I remember my note, and then I can just pull that up. But I do initially, I like to do it that way first. And if I'm typing up something, when I say I'm fast at it, it doesn't mean it's accurate. It's mad. But I can go back to that too, which is I know what I typed there, and I can fix it if I need to or not. So it goes both ways. But I love hand notes. I got stickies on my monitor, that I just, it's just easier just for me to slap it up there and I can throw it away, like you said, at the end of the day. And if it's important, I also use the note. I do use the notes on my phone a lot, and I use the audio memos all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, that's why you don't have to know how to type, because you can just hit the little microphone and start.
Well, no, I mean actual recorded audio memos. Yeah, you can do that. I never think to do that, but no, I mean, I just record audio memos for myself. And usually it's after I've had a few whiskeys at 11:30, 12 at night. And I'm coming up with these ideas. And the next day I was like, what was I thinking? And how much did I drink? Because I can't even understand myself.
I use kind of an audio system myself. In my case, it's not technological, really. I tell my wife, hey, don't let me forget to do such and such tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then she forgets to remind me. But I do keep notes. The problem I have with notes, like this one, my little Rocky Mountain Elf Foundation thing, but you see at the bottom it says 3 Dog Night. At some point I wrote that down. Now I have no idea what it means.
I'm the same thing. Yeah. Yeah. Same thing happened to me this morning. I'm looking down. I was like, what? And I wrote, okay, I'll just a quick example. I don't know if you can read it, but I have notes just about different, I don't know, things I was in a meeting. And then up here, this has nothing to do with it. I have Janis Joplin. Why is that part of this whole, what is this doing on there?
That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah. So
maybe we just drink too much, gentlemen.
I like it's 5 weeks. I'm on this Yeah, this is one of the longest I've been since I was a teenager.
Well, ignore my text from earlier where I invited myself over to drink.
Well, that's not now. We come over in about 4 or 5 weeks. You come over. We'll do it all weekend. I'll make up for what I'm missing right now.
I love it. Okay, so has anyone tried this? Because I'll tell you what really works for me. Because you're talking about writing yourself notes and stuff. If I'm laying in bed and I don't feel like rolling over, because if I grab my phone, then I could end up on Twitter and it would just be a mess, right? But I woke up and I thought, or I'm about to fall asleep or whatever, and there's like something I have to remember for tomorrow. If I reach over, and maybe it's something as simple as this, and I just toss it out in the middle of the floor, and then in the morning, I'm like, oh, that's right, I got to do blah, blah, blah. I don't know how my brain remembers that, but it works like charm. Yep. If you associate tossing something in the floor with, I've got to make an oil change appointment tomorrow, whatever,
I do that. I swear I do that all the time. It'll be something stupid, a car, whatever it is, and I'll just throw it on. So I actually have to walk over it to get out of my studio.
Yes.
And then if I see it, I was like, oh, that's right. I got to take out the garbage. Like, right. I do that. Yeah, I do the same thing.
Yep.
And until my wife comes along, picks it up, and then I'm...
No, don't touch that. That's a reminder.
I don't even see her do it, so I just forget. Why did the garbage go out? She picked up that Post-it note on the floor. That's why it didn't go out. Your fault.
When you mentioned changing the oil, you made me write another one down. Change oil in tractor.
Glad I can help. See?
I've got to do that. So now I'm going to throw that over there and forget about it. It'll be March. And I'll go, I got to change oil in the tractor.
Before it gets cold. Again, you need to get out there. Yeah. I was looking at this article here about the volunteers they need. This would be, I think, fun. It should pay, but whatever. You're going to transcribe reading these Revolutionary War pension records, field notes of Charles Mason of the Mason-Dixon line, immigration documents from the 1890s, Japanese evacuation records, the 1950 census. These are just examples of things that they need volunteers at the National Archives to translate from cursive. But I was just glancing here, and it said that school children were once taught impeccable, like you said, Ward, copper plate handwriting, and penmanship was something they were graded on. That began to change when typewriters first came into common use in the business world in the 1890s and was further supplanted in the 1980s by computers. Still, handwriting continued to be considered a necessary skill until the 1990s, when many people shifted to email, and in the 2000s to texting. By 2010, the Common Core teaching standards emphasized keyboard skills and no longer required handwriting, on the presumption that most of the writing students would be on computers. Now, that led to a pushback, and today at least 14 states require that cursive handwriting be taught. Wow. Including California. What in the world?
California?
Yes.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Well, maybe because their power keeps going out.
I think it's sad that they don't, but is it something that is really necessary? If you could maybe push that learning to something different besides cursive, would that be better? Like, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care. Like, I'm not that. If people can't read or write script, is it a big deal? Maybe, maybe not. It's just that they're taking away something that we're so like, what? But is it like a requirement,
I'd be happy if the schools started teaching basic reading, writing, as in sentence structure and grammar and arithmetic.
Yeah.
The purpose of any system of education, K-12, college, anything, the only legitimate purpose those institutions have is to produce young adults with marketable skills.
Yeah.
They're not doing that. Well, I take it back. You go to Colorado School of Mines and get a engineering degree, and you're probably going to do pretty well. But if you go to Berkeley and get a underwater ethnic dog polishing degree, you're probably not well set up to make your way in the world.
Yeah, I love all these autocorrect and spell checks and stuff. This happened until I saved Jeffy in my phone and got tired of it changing to Hefty. I had to save Jeffy as a word because it would always do Hefty as well. So anyway, let's see what else here.
My name doesn't apparently come out in if you on the hands free in the truck, or if my wife is trying to call me and just hits the voice thing and says call Ward. She could never make it work. So I am in her phone, both in text and on the voice command, under my old Army nickname, which was Animal. So it says call Animal, and my phone rings.
That's funny. That's funny.
That's awesome.
I carried that nickname around since I want to say it was the summer of '85.
Okay.
That's great.
I think next time you're on, I'm going to just have you not put Ward Clark on the screen, but Animal.
Animal.
Yeah.
Redstate.com. Okay, so I didn't really get into this story. It just reminded me of, and I did this to you guys, but this guy took a toll road for just 22 miles and back. And he was driving an RV, so 45 miles round trip in the RV. Guess how much his toll charge was?
What state?
I believe it is Virginia. Hold on, Virginia family. I don't know what state this. Yeah, Virginia. It happened in Virginia. Weekend getaway. He went a total of 45 miles with an RV, and when he got his toll charge, he said, "This is wrong," and they were like, "Nope, it's right. Look at your axles, buddy."
Yeah.
Most RVs have 3 axles.
Yeah.
And he guessed it.
$75.
I was going to go with 45, $1 a mile.
$576.
Wow. Wait, did he go? He might have went through that one tunnel. Chesapeake Bay Tunnel is like a $22 toll for a car.
Oh yeah,
and that's in Virginia, so he could have maybe gone that way.
It was $20 some dollars. I drove it once when I was out there at Fort Eustis. That was 1988, and it was like $22 then.
It was it was like around $22, $23 not too long ago for us when we went through.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe that one. I know the bridges going in and out of New York City. When I lived there, it was like $4 and $6. Now I think it's 18, and it's only been like 20 years. Like that's insane. But we were, I had a little U-Haul trailer that I was pulling, and Pennsylvania Turnpike. I can drive from Texas. I've done it several Texas all the way to Philadelphia.
Okay.
1,570 some miles, right? I can go 1,490 of those without paying a single toll until I hit the state of Pennsylvania. Then I have to get on the Pennsylvania Turnpike and drive about 70 miles, and it costs $40 to go 70 miles. And with the U-Haul trailer, it's $70 to go 70 miles. They have the worst, potholes or highway. My wife and I just laugh about it. We're like, it's a crime that they're charging you tolls, and the roads suck even worse.
I know that I get so pissed off, and it got so bad. They changed here in Dallas, and I don't know, Ed, if you mess with the tolls here, but I won't even let my family drive on the tolls. I'm sorry. The only place you can use the Easy Pass, unless you want to get your own for your cars, kids, is the airport to go and pick people up, drop them off. Because they started this thing here called, is it Go Karma?
Yeah, the Karma app. Yeah.
So you put the device in your car, and it used to be a routine where we had to go way down into Fort Worth to get the kids a couple times a week and then back. And so I would have the kids all do their little apps so that the stupid Go Karma would know that there's a lot of us in this. And it was never right. Yeah. And I fought so many battles. I was like, F it. We're leaving the Go Karmas in the garage, and that's it. If you want to do a toll, then you can pay for it your damn self, because the Go Karma things just don't work. And this technology ends up costing us, peak hours and peak congestion. And anyway,
it's tied to my Texas toll tag. It's just an app now. So the Texas toll tag you have in the car, and you have to have 2 people. But we thought that as long as you have more than you in the car, you get the carpool thing, right? So it's reduced half rate or something. But it's only between carpool times. So it's only between like 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., like rush hour times.
Yeah.
We thought it was just all the time until we realized, wow. But I tell you, man, I hate the tolls, but at least the tolls here, you can still haul ass down the road because you're on the express and you fly. I'm to the point now where I'm like, I'll pay $5 to be able to not spend 20 minutes sitting over there.
Yeah.
And it drives me crazy, but I'm to that point where I'm like, I don't feel like if I'm going down to Fort Worth from here is 22 miles, right? It can either take me 22 minutes or it can take me 40 minutes. I'm taking the 22-minute for $5. I'm just at that point. I'm like,
your time is valuable.
Yeah.
It's worth something.
But it shouldn't be that much. It shouldn't be. Not for 20.
No,
not even 22. Yeah, but.
So, okay, is anybody else like this in the chat or either you two gentlemen where if I have multiple options, like if it's green and it's going to take me 22 minutes, I will take that before it's red and it takes me 15 minutes because I don't want to sit. I want to keep moving even if it's going to take me longer. If it's green, we're going. Yeah. Is that just me? I don't know.
No, well, that's the same as like back when I was in Philadelphia. I would sit in traffic and hardly go anywhere. I'd rather drive an hour on an open highway than drive 20 minutes in traffic.
Yes.
Yeah. We lived in the Denver area for a long time before we moved up here, and I would take the tollway if it made any sense at all, just so I was moving.
Yeah.
And Denver, my in-laws live in Denver. Two of our kids live south of Denver, and that city they're turning into Los Angeles on the Front Range. It's a mess.
Well, the problem is I-25.
Yeah.
Right? You got to go north and south, and there ain't no side streets. It's just that's your only option to get from one side of Denver to the other.
Well, I-25 and I-70 and that interchange where they meet, they call the mousetrap for a reason because you can get stuck in it. And back in the 90s, they completely rebuilt it, and it's just not any better. It's always been a terrible, terrible interchange. Now the worst thing we have to deal with is sometimes you have to stop and wait for a moose to get his butt off the highway before you can drive on. They're bigger than your car in a lot of cases.
Let me see here. Hey, you guys, are either of you in the Guinness Book of World Records, or do you hold a record for anything off the top of your head? I don't think I asked you this in the email because I got a goofy story here that's just like these records are getting more and more ridiculous. Where you had congratulations to West Palm Beach, Florida. They now have the Guinness World Record for largest gathering of people dressed as dinosaurs. Please stop.
There was a woman from Turkey, I saw the video, who now holds the Guinness World Record for the most watermelons crushed between her thighs in 1 minute.
How many?
And it was 5. And she was a young woman. I guess she was in her early 20s. And,
okay.
The only thing I could think of was I would have hated to have been the guy who talked her into prom sex.
Yeah. I'm with Ed on this reaction.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what to think. That could go many ways.
That could go many ways. So anyway, congratulations, West Palm Beach. 468 of you gathered. You shattered the previous record of 250 people dressed as dinosaurs.
Let's move there now.
In one place.
Let's just do it.
I don't. This is interesting. You know, they studied like the blood of bears or something like that hibernate and all this stuff. Anyway, I just want y'all to know this. I'm not going to get into the minutia of this article, mostly because I don't understand it. But they've been working on cooling human blood and all this stuff to try to help for human hibernation. This could pay off for like trips to Mars or something like that, right? You see. And so what's happening right now is they're trying to figure out a way to help you go sleepy sleep for a long time for these long trips. So I just wanted to, I don't have a question for you. I don't know if you want to talk about that, but I just want y'all to know that they are actually trying to figure out, they're studying blood of bears that hibernate to try to figure out how we're going to,
as it happens, unlike Associate Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, I am a biologist. I have a degree in biology, my undergraduate degree. And the thing about bears, bears sleep through a good part of the winter. Bears also put on like 40% of their body weight in fat before they do that. So is that the cost? You go to, okay, listen, we're going to send you to Mars. You're going to be asleep through the trip, but you got to eat like 16 pizzas a day for 6 months before you get in the capsule. We need you to pack on about 100 pounds.
Yeah, I think.
And when you wake up, you're going to be skinny again. So, yeah.
That's a good diet, I guess. If you wanted, you could really enjoy the couple months building up to it.
Let me see here. Oh, the 10,000 steps. That's a myth. Just so you know. So anybody that count your steps over there, that's not the key to staying healthy. Instead, you just need to do 150 to 300 minutes of moderate intensity activity weekly, which translates to about 75 to 150 minutes of vigorous exercise. So basically 15 minutes a day, I think, is what the math works out. Don't trust my math. Do it yourself. So they're just saying if you could do vigorous movement for 15 minutes a day, that's much more healthy than just a 10,000 step goal that people seem to obsess over. So I just thought I'd give you a health tip there. 15 minutes a day.
That'll be different in 3 years.
Yeah. I'm not sure what vigorous means, but I probably spend that much time chopping up kindling for our wood stove, so I don't know if that counts.
You're set.
See, I need to move to Alaska. That seriously sounds like fun. Just chopping wood. It just seems therapeutic, man. Do you get a lot of thinking done when you're chopping up wood?
Actually, yeah, it is. I mean, I grew up in a house that was heated largely with wood. My dad, in that house, it was the primary heat, and we used about between 6 and 8 cords a year. Now we only burn about 2 because we got an oil burner and the wood stove's just extra. But yeah, it's therapeutic. It's one of those things that it doesn't require any thought. You just kind of slip your mind into neutral and let it freewheel while you're chopping up wood.
Man, so we went to the New England states in October and knocked out a whole bunch of states, because my goal has always been since I was a kid to get to all 50 states. So all I have left is Michigan, North Dakota, Washington State, and Alaska. And I assure you, when I get to Alaska, I'm going to make sure Ward.
Oh, yeah.
And
we're not going anywhere.
You could take advantage. I can just be free labor. Just come there and just start chopping wood, man. Because I know it sounds either sadistic to some people or therapeutic to others, but now I'm saying that sounds therapeutic. When I start doing it, I may quickly flip to sadistic. But anyway, I just like the thought of that. It sounds like fun to me. I don't know. Ed, you're not going to be moving to Alaska, are you?
No. I'll go with you though. I'll go up for a week or 2.
Texas is cold enough for you. What time of year are we going, Ed?
Ward? What's the best though? When is it 70 degrees?
June and July. June has more mosquitoes. July has more rain. The weather's usually a little prettier in June. But June has the bugs, and our mosquitoes are not to be taken lightly. They show up on air traffic radar.
Oh no!
Yeah, Alaska has, I think it's 27 different species of mosquito, and you'll believe it when you see them, because and every year's a little different. Last year they weren't that bad. The first year we moved here, they pick you up and carry you away. There were so many of them. There's clouds of mosquitoes every time you walk across the grass.
Hold on a second. So you said that's June when the mosquitoes are crazy?
Yeah, June for about the last 3 weeks of June is usually the heavy mosquito time, and then they kind of slack off.
When's the earliest it snows there?
We've gotten dustings of snow in late September, but it usually doesn't start to pile up until the first week of November.
So you think July, August is warm and out of the influence?
Yeah, but it'll start to rain more, and in about the second half of July through August, you get more rain than you do the rest of the summer.
No, man, you're making it sound like winter is more fun.
I'm gonna revise what I say. I actually think I would like to come up there when it's not brutal winter, but when it does snow, because I miss snowmobiling. I would love the snowmobile. And I never did this. I always saw people doing it, and we watched Grumpy Old Men the other day, or last night actually, and ice fish. Like, I would love to do those two things. So
I've never been big on ice fishing. Snowmobiles up here, by the way, are called snow machines. I don't know why the difference, but if you say snowmobile, people looking, oh, you mean a snow machine? It's like Canada. In Canada, they call them sleds.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why the difference. But yeah, we've got on our list to buy one. We haven't bought one yet. We've got 2 ATVs. But actually, if you're into that sort of thing, in late September through about October, you get some lovely weather. The leaves are turning, and our spruce grouse and rough grouse seasons are open. And we have some fantastic grouse hunting around here. And the limit, when I lived in Colorado, the limit on mountain grouse was 3 per day. Up here, it's 15.
Jeez.
And there's a lot of grouse around. I have a lot of fun grouse hunting. And the nice thing about hunting a grouse as opposed to a moose is you can shoot a grouse, you stick it in your pocket, and you go find another one. A moose, 5 days of backbreaking work.
Oh,
You're just getting the meat out of the bush and into a place where you can process it for the freezer.
ooh.
I'm an old man. That's getting to be an awful lot of work.
So when is the best I'm trying to think of, I want to do the ice fishing like Ed said, but September is going to be too early, right? I mean, you got to wait. Yeah. But if I go in March.
December or January is ice fishing.
Okay, but how cold is it then? See, I don't want to be miserable.
Yeah, it's going to be cold.
I want to ice fish and I want to be comfortable doing it.
Could you get there where the water's still like at the end of winter, where the water's still frozen enough to fish, but the weather's a little bit nicer? Or does it happen quick?
Yeah, it happens breakup can come pretty early, and it can be kind of unpredictable.
Okay.
And ice fishing's always on the lakes too, which you get a lot of bycatch, pike and stuff like that have been introduced. And I can't eat pike. Never cared for them. If you come in the summer, we've got trout fishing and salmon fishing. If you come in September, the silvers are running and they're fun to catch. They call them coho most places.
When was your last encounter with a wild animal there on your property? Because I know when we did our deep dive that's pinned at the top of the YouTube page, you talked about encounters with beasts when you walked from the house to the office there. What's been your latest run-in? Anything?
Was in early December, late November. We had a moose hanging around, actually a big full-grown cow and her yearling calf. They hung around for a while. We had black bear hanging around last fall for a while. I kind of saw a glimpse of him through the trees. If I'd got a clear look at him, he probably would have gone in the freezer because black bears are good to eat.
Oh, wow. Really?
And I want the pelt. The other morning, we got a motion sensor light by our back door. And, of course, it's dark still a lot. We're still over half the time in darkness right now. And
that's another thing.
Something set that light off, and I looked outside, and there's a porcupine waddling past our back door.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah, we've got lynx hanging around. We see their tracks. We've got pine martens. We've got all kinds of wildlife here.
So I got one more story, and then I'll let you gentlemen go. And I appreciate your time today. This is fascinating. There's a study, at least it's fascinating to me, a study that says our muscles, like our body, may have the ability to store memories, not just our brain as we're led to believe. I don't know how to approach this story other than just like they did this study and the tissues, I don't know, the cells, whatever. Bottom line is, they're calling it body memory. They're thinking that it's changed. The study is fascinating because it's changing how they what they think of when the body processing information. And so they're thinking this could really open up the avenues for innovative therapies and it's what was there was a term in here that they used, but anyway, non-neural cells can learn and retain information from patterns of chemical signals in ways previously attributed only to neurons. Anyway, I'm not going to sit here and try to make it sound like I understand this, other than just this is very exciting. I don't know. Memory just not confined to the brain only, apparently, is what they're thinking based on this study. I'm trying to see where this was done, though. I'm not seeing that anywhere in here. So if it was done, at community college down the street that got a grant to make up something, then anyway. But they're saying that, and this is an if, if cells and organs like the kidneys or heart hold memory-like capabilities, it could explain how tissues adapt to repeated stressors or treatments over time. The concept of body memory offers new lens through which to explore. Anyway, I think it's exciting. I at least wanted to throw that out there in case somebody wanted to do their own research looking into that, because that would be wild. I mean, it seems like there are procedures even today. Like, in other words, you look back at stuff that they were doing at hospitals and surgeries and stuff 50 years ago, hell, 20 years ago in some cases, and barbaric compared to the stuff we do today. But there's stuff that we do today that it feels like we are on the cusp of looking back and saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe that they used to do chemotherapy and, blast the body and basically kill it to save it. I'm fascinated by stuff like this.
You reminded me of a bit in, I was a Star Trek kid, and I love the original movies. And there's one movie where they go back in time to what was, when the movie was filmed, was the present day, the 1980s. And it involved, they had to get 2 humpback whales and this, that, and the other thing. But one of their crew, the Russian kid, Ensign Chekhov, is injured badly, and they have to go pull him out of this hospital. And of course, Leonard McCoy is like, these people are barbarians, flint axes, and he heals Chekhov, and they take him out. And there's an old woman sitting there, and McCoy walks past her and goes, "What's the matter with you?" And she goes, "I'm here for dialysis." And he goes, "Oh my God." He goes, "Here, hands her a pill. Take this." She puts it in her mouth. And as they're escaping the hospital, they run past, and this old woman is sitting up on the gurney yelling, "I grew a new kidney! I grew a new kidney!" Great. And I love that scene, but it is the advances we're making. People talk about the good old days. My father had a younger brother who died of pneumonia in 1928. He was 3 years old. Today, he never would have been in any danger. Yeah. My dad would have grown up with a younger brother that he never knew. He barely remembered him. Our youngest daughter was born in 1997. She was born 3 months early. For about the first 6 weeks, they weren't sure she was going to live. For about the first 3 days, they weren't sure my wife was going to live. And the doctor told me 20 years ago they both would have died.
Wow. Jeez.
So I can't speak to that paper, Keith, because I haven't read it. I know there's such a thing as muscle memory, and it has to do more with building up certain muscles involved with certain motions, like splitting wood. But the advances we're making now, and just our understanding of biology and how things work, it's been a fascinating time about the last 40 years, since I went to college in biology, studied biology.
This is okay. So my grandmother was born right at the time that Calvin Coolidge's son was dying from a blood infection that he got from a blister playing tennis without socks 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'll spare details, but recently she had a blood infection, and she said to me, because we were saying, I don't think it's much going on. She was like, no. Calvin Coolidge's son died from a blood infection, and I'm convinced I had a blood infection. And nobody really believed. But anyway, bottom line is, the doctor said, "Oh my gosh, you're absolutely right. You have a blood infection." And she's like, "See, I could have ended up like Calvin Coolidge's son." But see, it's just, we are not that far removed from, just like you just went through, Ward, in your own life and your own relationships. Yeah. It's just fascinating. And that's why you want the government to keep their hands off.
Yeah. For most of human history, life was nasty, brutish, and short. And most of the world lived in grinding poverty.
Yeah.
It's only been basically the Western civilization in the last 200 years, really, that kind of lifted so many people out of that.
That's right. What is the 5,000-year leap? I've got a copy of that book over here somewhere. I would highly recommend that. That shows you how America is very exceptional, and it does it not feel that way again here this week.
It feels a lot. I mean, you can see my cap.
Right.
It's a gift from my father-in-law, actually.
Honestly, I have hope again, and it's probably pathetic that it just took the inauguration of a new president to give me renewed hope in this country, but I sure as hell have it. I mean,
If the election had gone the other way, I'd be pretty despondent right now.
Yeah, me too. I just, yes, 100%.
But no, I agree. It's looking very hopeful.
Yes, it is.
Like I mentioned earlier, at the beginning of the show, I'd be happier if he talked more about. I mentioned Barry Goldwater. Barry Goldwater says, "I'm not interested in making government more efficient. I'm interested in making it smaller." And I wish and I have a series of VIP articles out of Red State right now that's going into precisely that. How can you reduce the government? Not make it more efficient. Cut it.
Yep, smaller.
But I'll take what we've got.
Yeah.
This is what we can have, and politics is the art of the possible. Mm-hmm. And this is what we can have, so I'll take it. It's much better than the alternative.
Read all of Ward's awesome stuff over at redstate.com. Ward Clark, redstate.com. Also, if you're interested in learning more about Alaska, go to the YouTube page, youtube.com/@the mic. I've got it currently pinned to the top there if you missed it from last summer. And Ed Bishop Voiceovers. If you have a podcast, we know everybody has one. You need help with it. Ed Bishop's your guy.
Or if you even have if you're a small business, you need, commercials produced. Any audio, you need radio spots cut. You take it to a regular radio station, it's going to suck. Trust me, I've worked at it's just because they don't care. You're just it's the same voice on everything.
That's right.
Right voice so your commercials can stand out. So anybody that has anything in the world of audio, anything.
That is awesome. I'm so glad you mentioned that. If you have a small business, think about advertising on the radio. Understand that when you sign the contract at the radio station, you will have the same. They have one production guy, if that, or it's usually someone else that also does production. And that individual is the voice of every commercial on that station. Have a unique voice. EdBishopVoiceovers.com. Awesome, guys. I appreciate all of your time. I hope you will stay warm this weekend. Actually, Ward will probably be out in shorts and a T-shirt, it sounds like, in Alaska, where it's warmer than it is here.
It won't last.
It won't. No, it won't. No, it won't.
But we have 8 days of above 32 coming. The next 8 days are above 30. I put my trees back outside. I uncovered them, so we've got 8 days before it gets cold again, if it does. So we're good. We're good.
Okay. All right, that's good. But I want snow, though. I know. Satisfied. We had 5 inches of snow here, and I need some more. Let's go. Come on. Let's get another snowstorm coming through here. They actually are saying next week at the border of New Mexico and Texas, over 2 feet of snow. Now, it's way out. I'm just saying, keep that in the back of your mind and prepare.
Okay. Have a good day. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks for having me on. This was fun.
Thank you so much. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern for another deep dive. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.